Now, recently, President Trump has been talking about the Antiquities Act. Now, that's the thing that allows us to take national monuments and declare them as such, protect public lands. It is for the purpose of preserving those lands for the public. That's a fact. No one disputes that, okay? But for whatever reason, Donald Trump said that this was, quote, a massive giveaway. A massive giveaway to who? It preserves it for the public. So is Donald Trump complaining about how lands protected for the public is a giveaway to the public? That's a bizarre way of putting it, right? But then he started talking about the, quote, abuse of the Antiquities Act. Well, who's abusing it and for what purpose? Is the public abusing it? Is there some sort of secret private organization that's going to do drilling? Oh, hold on, let's get to that in a second. But for now, he was complaining about Obama protecting more public lands, okay? He went on to explain, abuses have not just threatened your local economies, they've threatened your very way of life. Preserving public lands has somehow threatened our very way of life? How so? But it gets more dramatic. He says, they've threatened your hearts. I didn't know that preserving a public land in Utah was going to somehow endanger my heart. Man, that is strong language. I wonder where he's going with this. He promised that he would reverse federal overreach and restore the rights of this land to your citizens. Public lands will once again be for public use, but they're for public use now. That's what you're trying to change. Their Orwellian tactics are unprecedented. I know that people have used Orwellian tricks before, but they literally do the exact opposite of what they claim. What Donald Trump wants to do is take away public lands, privatize them. But he just said that, oh, that I will make them public again. There's only two possible explanations. One is he revels in lying to you and telling you the exact opposite. Watch these idiots. I'm going to take away public lands and then I'm going to tell them that I'm doing it to make them public. And then we'll rob him blind. And I'm going to get to how he's robbing you in a second. Or he's so stupid that whoever wants to trick him into it goes, hey, look, I just want to mine in these public lands. Let's tell Trump that making them non-public will somehow make them public. He'll believe it, he's a moron. Either way, it does not speak well of the president. So his Interior Secretary, Ryan Zinke, who's executing these plans, said, now, wait a minute, taking away these public lands, okay? And they just announced a massive carve away from these public lands at Bear Ears and at Grand Staircase-Escalante. And it's the biggest takeaway of public lands in American history, okay? But Zinke promises, quote, this is not about energy. There is no mine within Bear's Ears. Now, you're gonna be shocked to find out it's about energy. Not only that, get a load of this. It's about uranium. The thing that Donald Trump just complained about in regards to the Democrats. Oh, uranium won. Why isn't Hillary Clinton being investigated? Why hasn't she been arrested? Mueller was the head of the FBI at the time. Mueller's got a problem. Obama had a problem. Uranium, uranium, uranium. It turns out they want to privatize our public lands in case of Bear's Ears so that they could do uranium mining. All right, let me go to the Washington Post for the story. The uranium company launched a concerted lobbying campaign to scale back Bear's Ears National Monument, saying such action would give it easier access to the area's uranium deposits and help it operate a nearby processing mill, according to documents obtained by the Washington Post. So the company's Energy Fuels Resources. Turns out they lobbied the Trump administration. Give me that public land. Uranium prices are a little low now, but we think that they're going to go up for a number of reasons related to the markets. So we want to be ready to mine that area, and it's inconvenient to us. Now look, conservationists are against it. Actually, some conservatives are against it because if it's public land, you could fish, you could hunt, you could do different things because it's reserved for you, not for private corporations. Navajo have complained about it because in the past there has been uranium drilling in that area and mines, and guess what happened? It leaked into their water supply and poisoned them. So they are concerned about that. So nonetheless, of course, the Trump administration goes forward. In a May 25th letter to the Interior Department Chief Operating Officer Mark Chalmers, wrote that 1.35 million acre expanse Obama created could, quote, affect existing and future mill operations. So internally, they're very clear about why they want this. The company says, here, I'm lobbying your Trump administration, and I want to open up the public lands because it could have existing and future mill operations that we'd like to run. It's simple old corruption. Now remember, we've given you guys a lot of money, we spent a lot of money lobbying, so do as you're told by your donors. And they can do and they are doing. So Mark Chalmers said, there are also many other known uranium and vanadium deposits located within the original boundaries that could provide valuable energy and mineral resources in the future. And that's the Energy Fuels Resources COO. Wait, I thought it wasn't about the energy. No, Ryan Zinke's a liar? I would have never guessed. Donald Trump was lying when he said taking away public lands would somehow make them more public, and that it didn't have anything to do with his donors. No, tell me it ain't so. More details from the Washington Post. Energy Fuels Resources did not just weigh in on national monuments through public comment letters. It hired a team of lobbyists at Fager Baker Daniels, led by Andrew Wheeler, who's awaiting Senate confirmation as the Environmental Protection Agency's deputy secretary. I'm going to get back to him in a second, to work on the matter and other federal policies affecting the company. It paid the firm $30,000 between January 1st and September 30th, according to federal lobbying records, for work on this and other priorities. So did you understand that? That guy, Andrew Wheeler, he is part of this meeting where they're talking about how they want to privatize these lands. But he's not in the meeting as part of the government. At the time, he's the lobbyist for the uranium company. Then Trump decides, uranium company is so right, let's do a crooked deal and let's take away public lands and let them mine on it. And that guy who was the top lobbyist for them in that meeting, I like that crooked sumbitch so much, I'm going to appoint him to be the deputy secretary for the Environmental Protection Agency, where he can then work for those same energy companies in destroying our environmental regulations. They have no qualms. They have no conscience. They have no shame. There is no bottom to that barrel. He's awaiting confirmation now. Republicans, are you going? I'm sure they will. Oh, whoa, this guy's the guy who robbed Utah and the country of public lands because of some lobbying that he did. Maybe we should put him as the deputy secretary of the EPA. You're going to do that? They probably will, because that's the whole point of their entire party is corruption. Okay, one last thing here. The company's vice president of operations, William Paul Goranson, joined Wheeler and two other lobbyists, including former Congresswoman Mary Bona, Republican of California, to discuss Bears Ears in a July 17th meeting with two top Zinke advisors. When asked about that meeting, they're like, well, it wasn't necessarily about the mines. Well, maybe it was about the mines, but we just had a small conversation about the uranium mines. Well, that small conversation has led to a giant effect, which is that they're going to take away our public lands so that Republican donors can get uranium out of our land. You want to know a uranium controversy? That's it right there. If you like the Young Turks, you'll love Young Turks membership. tytnetwork.com/join.